Do you know what word is synonymous for Brock in 2024? Simp. In 2024, Brock would either be called a simp or get cancelled. But why? Why are morons on the internet trying to cancel him for always falling in love? Have you ever thought about why he always falls in love? Why he's always so desperate to chase older women despite having little to no success with them? Why he's willing to give up on his very dreams and passions just to be with one? If you think it's just a gag, then you haven't truly understood Brock's character. Today, we uncover the miserable truth about Brock's desire for so-called love. While you may call Brock a simp, it doesn't mean that he doesn't have anything to him. Actually, on paper, this guy has everything you want in a guy. He can cook up some fantastic meals unlike anyone else. He's got humor, peak comedy that no one else in the series can match, and between all of Ash's companions, he's by far the smartest and most intelligent one. Not only because he's the guy that people go to for questions about Pokemon, but also because he actually becomes a Pokemon doctor, meaning he's not only smart, but he's got a crazy job, and he's got the money in the back to back it all up. Look, the guy's even flexing with his new jet thing. You'd think with a resume like this guy would be the top dog, the one getting all the ladies, but he has zero to no luck with almost all of them. Comment down below on a scale of 1 to 10 how unfair you think it was that Brock didn't find any true love in the series. One reason is of course because he's way younger than all the girls that he hits on, and legally can't be taken as a partner, but even those people around his age don't really entertain him. In a way, it's good that they don't, because if they did entertain Brock's hormonal teenager vibes, then he might have actually thrown away all of his dreams and endeavors just for the sake of one girl. He's threatened to do so many times, and if he had gone through with it, he wouldn't have become a Pokemon doctor or helped Ash become the very best. He would have just had romance and been in his honeymoon phase from the age of 15 to what he hopes to be an eternity with a supposed love of his life. Because, well, his childhood has shaped marriage to be something crazy in his mind, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Of course, his journey with Ash does come to an end, and they both achieve a big part of their dreams, but it would have ended prematurely for both of them if Brock wasn't so unsuccessful. So consider his failures a blessing in disguise, but we don't actually have to imagine this scenario because there was a time where Brock leaving for a girl wasn't just a threat. There was a time where this became a reality. In the Orange League, this guy straight up gave up his entire life for Professor Ivy. And, I mean, as a 15-year-old hormonal teenager, it's not hard to understand why. Yeah, Brock was written off from the Orange Islands because Pokemon became a global phenomenon, and the people of the anime thought, hey, now that Pokemon is reaching headlines all over the world, you think we're gonna piss some people off with Brock over here looking like this? We're gonna get cancelled for being racist for some reason? I don't know, boss, we ain't in 2024 yet, but maybe. Why don't we play it safe and replace him with Troubleless Tracy over here so we got everyone looking basic and incontestable? Yeah, if it was in 2024, Brock would have been cancelled for one reason or another, so I actually want to say that the writers of the show were thinking way ahead of their times, but luckily it wasn't 2024, so Brock got to continue his adventure without the world going for his neck. But like I said, his journey did come to a halt. Brock was so taken away by Professor Ivy that Misty couldn't drag him back, and wouldn't you know it, the guy left Ash and Misty to stick with Professor Ivy, and did anything he could do to help her. In fact, the only time we really see him in the Orange Islands after he's left is when he's running around doing errands for Ivy, which again, not a bad thing. But with the way Brock goes about it, it just shows a certain level of desperation from the guy, and that he values finding a suitable woman for him over any kind of dream he has, or anything else in his life. See, I don't think people are questioning this hard enough. It's one thing to be hormonal, but it's something entirely different when you choose to drop your whole life just to try and get with someone, just to try and please them to fill in a void in your life. And that brings about the question, why is he so desperate to find someone, and what kind of woman is he really looking for? Well, luckily for us, Takashi Shudo might just have the answer. The late Takashi Shudo was the chief writer of the original Pokemon series, as well as the writer of the first 3 Pokemon movies. During his time as a chief writer, he actually produced 2 volumes of a novel of the Pokemon anime called Pocket Monsters, the animation. Now, you may think that because it's a novel in the Pokemon anime, that it's lighthearted and fun, but no. This novel goes into some dark secrets and history of the Pokemon world. And when I say dark, I'm talking about rather heart-wrenching and eerie aspects of the Pokemon world and characters that the anime would never ever dare to even cover. And when it comes to Brock, the novel actually reveals the secret of his love-struck nature. A secret that's so deep-rooted that it comes from an aspect of his life that we rarely get to see. His mother, Lola. We're heading into the deep lore now, but before we get there, let me tell you another secret. My channel is dying. The only way for my channel to continue is by creating shipping related content like this, and though this isn't shipping, I don't know what to call it because I don't want to call it love videos because it sounds too weird, but videos like this one. And for you to subscribe and hit the like or dislike button to show your support so we don't have to enter the YouTube ICU. Please subscribe and show your support. I think I'm getting there. Thanks. In the Pocket Monsters of the animation novel, it is said that being a gym leader isn't much of an easy job. The government support is poor, and the pay isn't all good. Above all, it is said that if a gym leader loses 3 times in a row, they're fired and replaced with another gym leader, essentially leaving them without a job and maybe even a home. Jeez, and I thought our economy was bad. And since Brock's father Flint had left his family and his gym behind to pursue his own ambitions of becoming a powerful Pokemon trainer, it was up to Lola to manage the gym and take care of her family. Due to the stress of maintaining the gym, she actually remarried again and again and again to help maintain the gym, but none of her husbands could handle the stress of their responsibilities, forcing each one of them to flee. Ever wonder why Brock had so many siblings? Well, it's because most of the 9 children come from completely different fathers from one another, because of how often Lola repeatedly got married to try and maintain the gym. Eventually though, she herself couldn't handle the responsibilities of being a gym leader and decided to abandon her family as well, leaving Brock to be the one to take care of the gym, as well as his family, but not without its consequences. According to Takashi Shudo, Brock's love-struck nature essentially comes from lacking a maternal figure while growing up, and basically being the father figure and the only one to raise the rest of his siblings. You ever wonder why Brock only falls in love with older and more mature women? Yeah, shut up internet, trying to cancel him for apparently being creepy with the ladies? My guy has always been respectful and not once has he gotten googly-eyed for anyone younger than his age. At the very least, they've been young adults, 18-year-olds, so back off with this cancel culture nonsense. Unless you're trying to tell me that you never had a celebrity crush growing up or a crush on any adult when you're a kid, which at that point, you're probably just a bloody liar. But coming back to the topic at hand here, there's a reason why he only goes after older women. It's not simply because he's attracted to women that are older than him. It's actually because he's looking for an appropriate maternal figure to help raise his siblings alongside him. Think about it. The reason why he never gushed over Misty, May, or Dawn is because, well, they're simply not mature enough to be mothers yet. They're very inexperienced in dealing with the world, and it's pretty much up to Brock to help take care of them, their Pokemon, and the rest of his companions, so where's the question of them helping take care of his siblings? They basically are just like his siblings. People like Officer Jenny and Nurse Joy, however, are very capable in taking care of themselves and those around them, and have a lot more responsibilities overall. Whenever Brock sees this in a woman, he doesn't just see that woman as another beautiful woman, but he sees her as a possible mother for his siblings, the maternal figure that he always lacked, and the one that he can now give to his siblings. Brock is the type of guy to always put others first. He's altruistic. Even in his love for women, it's his siblings first, not him. Even if you thought it was for him, if the way he was with Professor Ivy was indicative of anything, it shows that he would give himself to this girl completely. He always puts other people before himself. His heart always comes before his rock. I had to make some kind of joke there at one point, come on. You could even say that another reason for his love-struck nature is because he kept seeing his mom remarry so many men that Brock thought this was normal growing up, and that's why he developed to be so flirtatious with multiple different women, but I wouldn't question that guy's commitment for anything. I feel like once he's with a girl, he's the type to be with her for life. There is one big problem with what Mr. Shudo has said, however. He mentioned how Lola remarried several times, and that's the reason why she has several kids. Well, if you look at the kids, they clearly resemble Flint a lot more than her. The only real explanation we can give to this is that maybe she kept remarrying people within Flint's hometown, or maybe even his family. But if you ask me, neither of those two options really make sense. I reckon, however, that the reason for this is that Brock's siblings were revealed after Takashi Shudo had stopped working on the show, meaning that the writers probably just dumped all of the backstory they had written and made Brock's siblings resemble Flint to keep things lighthearted. Yeah, we could have had some cool backstory, but you gotta love modern day media for censoring everything out. Now, because of this retcon, some of you may say that the original reason for Brock constantly falling in love and looking for a woman that could help him take care of his siblings is no longer valid, which I don't blame you. If you think that's the case, however, then there is an alternative theory that I can present to you. While not so dark in this case, Brock's love-struck nature still comes from his family, but this time it's not his mother, but his father, Flint. In Pokemon Chronicles episode A Family That Battles Together Stays Together, what an ironic name, Lola is introduced to the anime and is trying to change the Pewter City gym into a water-type gym. At first, Flint doesn't approve of the changes, but after some quick flirting from him and Lola that totally embarrasses their children, this guy stops caring and lets her do whatever she pleases and panders to Lola's dreams, even at the expense of his children's beliefs and the Pewter City gym. Sounds like someone else that we know? Well, I don't think Brock would put aside his siblings for someone else, but the gym? Maybe. But it's clear to see that after the original series, Brock was written to have got his lovey-dovey nature from Flint. Personally, I'm taking the darker route, and that's pretty much the real reason as to why Brock is the way he is. They just have to retcon along the way and make it less dark moving forward, and not just because it's dark, but more so because it adds a lot of depth to Brock's character. With this, him running after women isn't just some funny gag that stayed consistent across the anime. It's something that surprisingly gives him a lot of heart. Brock was always the big brother of the group, the one who took care of everyone, and that's one of the main reasons why the character was loved so much. And when you take one of the funniest aspects to him and peel it away, we see that the core of his humor and love, his compassionate nature for his family and the world, still remains intact. And it's a true driving force of his character. So, for me, even though the anime may have retconned it, his goal of finding a wonderful mother for his siblings will always be what I see as a true goal in his pursuit for love. And to me, Brock will always be one of, if not my favorite character from the Pokemon anime, for being the funniest, most caring, and responsible guy there is. Some of you may be on a desperate search for love yourself, just like Brock. I get it, love is an effort to merge two into one. It's a beautiful process that most people want to experience, but if you ask me, most people got it the wrong way. Many people, including many of you, yeah, talking to you here, are desperate for love. They're looking for it out of sheer desperation. For many, it may not even be love, it just might be hormones. But essentially, they're chasing something out of lack. See, if you go out and seek love from someone, and you get it from them, and one day they decide not to give it to you, or they decide to take it away from you, you'll break. That's not in your hands, but even before that, if you go out seeking something in desperation, it's not necessarily an attractive quality to have because you're functioning out of lack. Now, when you go to be with someone, you'll always see how to extract things from them. That's not love if you ask me, but if you become loving, if you naturally felt fulfilled and loving by yourself, by your own nature, just by sitting here, this is now something that is in your hands, and something that no one can take away from you. Now, when you go out to be with others, romantic or otherwise, you will naturally exude love. Your relationships no longer become an extraction of love and joy. Now you're in such a way that you want to share love and joy with the world. And naturally, when you're like this, people can't help but be around you. And above all, you've kept yourself in a wonderful state, and that's what matters the most. This might sound crazy to some of you, but there are ways to make this happen. If you wish to experiment, there's a free meditation called Chit Shakti for Love. This is a guided meditation that will help you experience the state of love that I just talked about. Love as the way you are, not from anywhere else. So, if you feel like love is something you're lacking, or it's something you wish to experience, you can try this for free on YouTube. You'd think after Brock met Olivia, he'd experience love as well, but no. For some reason, they wouldn't let my guy have this one either. Poor Brocco. It's alright, man. The Pokemon community will always love you for being who you are. Okay, maybe not the fans in 2024, but I will. You're the GOAT.